Hey, good morning, fellow guitarists. This is Corey Miller. Welcome to C Mill Guitar, your home of the six-string solution. We are here today to talk about just a few of my favorite licks, and these are a few of my favorite licks. This is going to be just kind of a few of the triplet riffs that have some repetitive fingerings in them that you can use to get some speed in your rock playing, or if you want to play them in a country tune, a rap tune, or some kind of Bach concerto, you could do that too. But for now, we're going to kind of go with the rock vibe. So let's start with the first one here. This is one that a lot of people use. You know, Slash, I think, is one that comes to mind with this riff in particular. Steve Lukather, I mean, I'm going back to the 80s, maybe barely into the 90s with those things, but we're going to kind of live in the 80s today with these riffs. So we're going to take a look at this. This is the first part of the riff here. This. All right, that's it's kind of a cool little 3-note per string riff. So what's happening here is we're kind of cheating a little bit, I guess. We're doing more of a pattern than being in one actual key. So really what we're going to do is this is going to be in the key of A. All these riffs are going to be in the key of A. Not necessarily A major, probably more like A Dorian, maybe A Mixolydian-ish, if you understand what those modes are about. They're basically just the major and minor counterparts of one another. So let's start out this riff here. So we're going to start today with our first finger on the 4th fret of the A string, all right? And then we're gonna hammer on, all right, which means just we're gonna slam that second finger onto the next fret up, the 5th fret of that same string. And then our 4th finger is gonna go on that 7th fret of the low A string here. I guess it's the only A string, so there we go. Same exact pattern on the D string. 4th fret, 5th fret, 7th fret. And then we're gonna go 4th fret, 5th fret, 7th fret on the G string. So what we're going to do is we're going to go 4, 5, 7 on the A, 4, 5, 7 on the D, 4, 5, 7 on the G string, okay? Now we're going to go back to that D string and do 4th fret, 5th fret, 7th fret. Okay? G string again. Now we're going to slide our finger up 1 fret to the 5th fret. Now we're going to do 1st finger, 3rd finger, 4th finger, and then 1st finger on the 5th fret of your high E, okay? So again, that second part of the riff, okay, that second part of the riff here is 4th fret, 5th fret, 7th fret on the D string. Those are all hammer-ons. 4th fret, 5th fret, 7th fret on the G string. Okay, those are all hammer-ons as well. And then we're going to go to the B string here. We're going to go 5th fret, 7th fret, 8th fret, and then end with our 5th fret on the high E string, all right? So all together that is, here's the first part of it, starting on your A string, 4th fret. Okay, same fingering there. That's where we shift, and then end up on that 5th fret of the high E string. So here we go again. There it is all together, all right? Super slow. Back to that D string. G. Shift up to the B. All right, so you've got that. All right, you can do that up the octave too. You've got that option, you know. Let's go to another riff here. We're going to just kind of deal with the triplets, you know, because, you know, triplets are better, right? 3 candy bars are better than 1 candy bar, so may as well go with it. 3 notes better than 1 note, right? So the next one is going to be a similar thing, and this is kind of cool. This is a little bit related to the last one we just did, but we're going to start on our G string with our first finger on the 5th fret, all right? And we're going to do the same pattern on all 3 strings. So we're going to do 3 notes on each string here. We're going to turn the volume pedal on first. We're going to go 5th fret on the G string. We're going to hammer on the 7th fret and then 8th fret with the pinky here on the G string. Same exact fingering on the B string. 5th fret, 7th fret, 8th fret. Same thing on the high E. 5th fret, okay? 7th fret, 8th fret. Now all together when you're hammering those on, you can go. So let me show you what I'm doing with my right hand here. I just noticed it was kind of out of frame in this other camera. So let's look at the right hand. Let's talk about the picking. So what I'm doing is I'm going down and then doing my hammer-ons, and I'm going up on the B string and then back down when I get to the E string, okay? Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay? And you can get that thing going fast, you know, that's the nice thing about that, you know. And here's the other little tip. When you're hammering on here from your first finger, 3rd finger, 4th finger, get that first finger ready for the next string. Right when that 4th finger hits, move that first finger. Okay? See that? Because then you're ready to hit that next note with your pick, okay? So here's the other thing. You can get that thing going really, really fast by doing that. Now check this out. Just kind of a neat riff, you know, if you want to add some speed to your playing and, I don't know, impress your cat, I guess. You know, my cat is impressed all the time. He's an imaginary cat, but, you know, he loves this guitar playing. So anyway, let's look at another riff I've got here. We're going to take the riff we just played, which was riff number 3, I think, on the screen. And what we're going to do is we're just going to play that in reverse, okay? So we're going to start with just the basics of that, all right? And this is all going to involve pull-offs now rather than hammer-ons, okay? And we're going to start on the 8th fret of the high E string, okay? And we're going to pull off. We're going to go 8, 7, 5. And we're going to go to the B string and do the same thing. 8, 7, 5, okay? G string and do the same thing. Okay. Okay. Not too hard, right? Picking is the same kind of deal. Down, up, down. Okay. And if you want to get that going real fast, and I am switching up my picking on that. I'm going down, up, down, up, down, up. So the picking is really the same as what we'd covered before in doing those triplet figures where you're going down, up, down, and then up, down, up on the next string. So it's the same right hand pattern. It's just a little bit slower, and we're crossing strings, which makes it a little bit different. But the concept is the same, okay? And that's what I want everybody to understand here. Is we're kind of playing more with concepts than we are with, you know, here's a riff. Now, on that topic of concepts, okay, now we did those triplets kind of a la Brian Setzer, right? Right, that kind of a vibe. If you want to do a rockabilly thing, you can metal it up too if you want to, but it's a really usable riff. Okay, the neat thing about this riff is, you know, even though we just played all those triplets just right down that pattern, right down those strings, what we can do is we can skip too, or we could go back up. We could do this. We could go down, we could do that. We could go down and back up. We could go down and then do a hammer on back up too. We could do that. We could also do this. This is kind of cool. Just the first two strings. All right, and then any combination of those, like, make up your own. Lots of different things like that. All right, lots to explore with this little riff. Very usable. You can get some speed built up pretty quickly with that thing. Just make sure you're on your fingertips. It's kind of neat to reverse them. I mean, if you were doing that rockabilly thing, you go. Let's look at another riff here now that we've kind of exhausted that one and probably exhausted you as well. Let's keep it going. Stop and get some coffee. There's a pause button right there too, and there's also a like button down here, and there's a comment button. So, if you think I should have more coffee, I am very willing to take that leap. But for now, I'm going to stick right here with you guys and work on a couple more riffs. So this next kind of series of riffs is built on kind of I guess what you'd call a bounce pattern. You're bouncing back and forth between notes using hammer-ons and pull-offs. So, you can do these in different rhythms as well, too. You can, the trick is here, we're going to start on our top E string, our high E string. Okay. We're going to go fourth finger, pull off to first finger, third finger, pull off to second finger. Now here's where you have an option. You can either do what's called a cross fingering and play that 7th fret on your you can play the 7th fret on your B string, because that's a whole lot easier. You can play the 7th fret on your B string with your third finger, just like you did on your E string. So you could do this. Or you can use what's called a cross fingering, okay? Doesn't mean your finger's angry or anything like that. I've seen some angry fingers, though, especially when I'm driving. But that's another story altogether. So here, we're going to stick with this. This is a cross fingering as far as our guitar goes, and it's a very peaceful gesture. So what's happening here is rather than going with our third finger here and back, we're going to use our second finger on that 7th fret. So what that allows us to do is it allows us to just kind of recover quicker, to keep our other fingers in the same locations that they've been in, without having to try and kind of go back and forth with that third finger on its own. So, you can do it this way. Or that, I think you can build a lot of speed with a little quicker if you can get that down. It took me a while to get that coordination, but once you see people like Steve Vai, who does cross fingerings like that, if you watch some of the pentatonic things that he's played live, if you check him out, you can see that happening. A lot of blues players do that. A lot of really great players do that. So I figured, well, what the heck? I may as well do it too. Great or not, I'm gonna follow their advice. So we're just moving that down. We're just moving that same pattern down, just like our triplet things. It's the same fingerings that we used on those. We're just bouncing back and forth. So what we're doing is we can play this in triplets, or we can play this with 16th notes. So that means there are going to be 4 divisions per beat. So we can go. We can do that, or we can do triplets. Triplet, 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 triplet. Okay? Did you see what I just did there? I just took that riff that we were just learning, and I combined it with the other triplet riff and a little pentatonic thing. I mean, we're not really going outside of our classic A minor pentatonic shape there. A lot of music can be had in that position. It's all about what note you choose and what rhythms you choose, and a lot can happen there. You don't have to be ripping all over the neck. I mean, that's all well and good, but you can get a lot of music out of that one little spot. Now we're just going to extend that down the scale. So we're going to use those same notes like we talked about that we did with those other triplets that we did earlier, okay? So here goes. So feel free to comment below. Squash the like button. I'd really love to hear comments from you guys. I mean, if you want me to cover a particular subject on guitar, I would be more than happy to do that. Whether it's I want to learn how to play this song, or I want to learn how to finger pick on acoustic, or any of that, anything like that. Okay, feel free to comment, and we will see you next week here on C-Mill Guitar, your 6-string solution.